All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Team Empower. I was just booted from my spot. I had to put a towel under my computer. Okay. Welcome to Team Empower call this week. We're so excited to see so many faces. It's fun to have Lindsay back. I haven't seen you on a call for so long. It's so fun to have you here. And Jessica,
I know.
welcome to your first call. Jessica is our newest coach. I guess you were here last week. You and Cindy were here last week, right?
I wasn't on this call last week.
No. Last week. All right. That was, anyway. Welcome. There's been so many calls that I can't remember what was what. So we're super excited to have all of your sparkly, shiny faces here. So by way of announcement, any announcements? Team Cup is in full effect.
Team Cup.
And
that's all. That's the only thing I could see. Team Cup. Everyone here is on a team, right? As I'm seeing, looking. Oh wait, Jessica, are you on a team? Probably not, because you just barely signed. No. That's okay. Next year. Actually, not even next year. They do it in
February.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So cool.
Okay, cool.
All right, Al. I hand it over to you to jump right in.
Okay, so today, since we're just starting Team Cup, most of you have not been on a Team Cup before, so we thought we would just cover how to have a successful month, which really, Team Cup, I mean, it has cool prizes and stuff, which is fun, a fun incentive, but all Team Cup is to help you be consistent with the behaviors, the foundational behaviors of being a successful coach. Which we all know because we say over and over and over and over again and pound it into your heads that the way to do that is by following the 4 vital behaviors and being consistent with the BAT. Shout out to Katie Laws, who's been posting into the group. I know Sarah's been following the BAT. So, I mean, seriously, and Leanne, oh my gosh, everybody like on this call, you guys are just killing it with the BAT. So, good job. We know that we're preaching to the choir here, but we wanted to make sure we go over certain aspects of the BAT for our newer coaches who are on the call and then who will tune in later. We also wanted to tell you, so last time I did Team Cup, I was super successful. I got, I think, 37 Success Club points that month. I know. What? It was an awesome month for my paycheck. But the following month, I was totally burned out. So we want to make sure that you guys are pushing yourself, because Team Cup is all about going beyond going beyond what you would normally do. So we don't just want you following the BAT. We want you doing 2 or 3 times what you would normally do. But also make sure, I mean, on the BAT, there's an unplug section, right? You've got to make sure that you're unplugging and disconnecting from coaching so you don't burn out. I really burned myself out last time, and it took me like a few weeks to recuperate. So, but we'll go ahead and share our best practices that we did last time, which were mainly following the BAT. And then there were the main thing that comes to mind is that we focused on running 2 challenge groups was it February, August? I don't remember which Team Cup it was, what month. One in the beginning and one in the end of the month. And we had a free group in the middle. We want to let you guys know if you wanted to do 2 groups, you can always add your challengers to our groups. If you're feeling like your group, you don't have enough people to run a group, you can always put them in our group. So we'll pull up a calendar before the call's over and tell you when our groups are going to be, and you can just plan on putting your challengers in there. You know, if you only have 2 people or something and you feel like you want a bigger environment, you can put them in with us. We're just going to be doing 30-day groups, what you guys are used to, not the 60-day workshops, and so it'll be everything that you're already used to. So we did that last year, and we were constantly selling. And when I say selling, I mean sharing our story. Okay? So we're telling you that we want you to do more than your average month would look like 2 or 3 times. So that means I was consistently posting, and I wasn't just posting once a month about challenge groups. I was posting several times, not about challenge groups, but of what groups did for me and how my life is now. Whereas before, I feel like I kind of only did that like a week before the challenge group, you know? And so rather than that, I focus on doing it all month. And that's where all of my Success Club points came from, constantly talking about it. So those, do we want to go through the bat now, Lace, or what do you think?
Yep, for sure.
Okay, so if you have it in front of you, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Jessica, do you even know what the bat is?
I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
It's a work activity tracker.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You are so smart. So the bat is a business activity tracker. It's our Bible. So we're firm believers that success comes from consistency. And in order for us to be consistent and know if we're consistent, we have to be tracking what we're doing. The bat is so similar to tracking your containers, like when you're doing 21-day fix. A lot of times you think you know what the portion is, or you think you have about the right amount until you start tracking and you realize that you're off in some areas or over in some areas and not doing some things. And that's how the bat helps you stay on track with the foundational things for success when it comes to coaching. So I'm glad you have it in front of you. So we're going to go through that now, and probably not even the whole thing, just the main things that stick out to us, like what we've seen. That
one thing really quick too that stood out to me at Summit, and that we've talked about a couple of times after Summit and in these calls and everything, is the bat helps you to focus on business building activity rather than just business activity, but it allows you to focus in on those things that will actually build your business. Because there's lots of stuff that can fill your time that is related to the business, but it's not always necessarily business building. But the staying consistent with the bat and getting the bat done first is what will help you to know that you are focusing in on those things that will build your business rather than just fill your time.
Yeah. I loved that in Summit. I think, was I just talking to you about that, Sarah? I don't remember, but there's a difference between business related activities and business building activities. So scrolling Facebook, okay, that's like a business related activity. You're not really building your business. Okay, maybe you're sort of networking when you're scrolling Facebook, but not really, right? So that helps you really structure your time and do business building activities rather than just business related activities. Another business related activity would be putting together images, for your page, or creating new menus. Okay, that's not necessarily necessary. That's like I just repeated myself there. And it's good for your business, but you need to do the fundamentals first. And so the bat really helps us zone in on the fundamentals. I feel like I just said the same thing like 12 times. So let's just look at the bat. Okay, so the portion, do you want to start, Lacey, or do you want me to start? You start. I've been talking.
Okay. Do you want to start with going over the bat or just what we talked about?
Let's just do, what time is it? 7:14?
I'll just do a quick rundown. Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, I think that the column that's most overlooked most often on the bat would be your goal column. I think it's super, super, super important to sit down, whether it's at the end of the week to plan for the next week or the beginning of the week to plan for the upcoming week, is to set your goals for the upcoming week. Don't just let whatever happens happen, but set goals for yourself so that you know that you're going to reach for something outside of your comfort zone. So it's not just like if that's blank and you do 2, it's like, sweet, I got 2. But if you have a goal of doing 4, then it's, as the day's winding down, you think, okay, I need to get 2 more done. So go through and put in your goal numbers for that entire column of the bat every single week. We do have suggested numbers. And like Ali said, we're going to encourage you guys for this month of Team Cup to take what your standard is and do at least 2 more. So if your standard reconnect is 5 a day, we're going to ask you to do 7. If your standard social media post is 2 a day, we're going to ask you to try and do 3 or 4. Are we going to kick you out of the team if you don't? No. But that's just something to kind of help push you forward. So the first one is to be a product of the product. We all know how super important that is. So we have our own story to tell. So that's kind of self-explanatory. The next is personal development. You guys have heard us preach personal development. We love it. But I think that it's also super critical that that you make sure it's intentional. It's not just listening to something that's uplifting or inspiring. That's all good and fine and wonderful and all, but you need to be intentional with what you're trying to learn. So really hone in on where you feel like you're struggling, what you feel like you need to know more of, and start to research that topic. Look for that. Maybe it's social media, maybe it's ads, maybe it's business, like whatever it is that you feel like you're lacking in, really hone in there and be intentional with that personal development time. Let's see, reconnecting. Al, that kind of leads into what you want to talk about. Do you want to talk about reconnecting and inviting?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, take over.
So okay, am I cutting out when I talk? You were kind of in and out when you're talking. Is that just my computer? Was Lacey in and out for any of you?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's mom's internet connection.
Yeah.
But I could understand what you're saying.
Okay.
So reconnecting, I really wanted to hit this because, and Lacey's going to focus on social media. I want to kind of focus on reconnecting because I feel like those are real. Hold on. That's interesting. Oh, that's going to go down. Those are two areas. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, I think I'll just jump in really quick and do what the social media portion of it. So this is something that I've listened to quite a bit as I'm here at my mom's. I was in the car for like 6 hours today, and a lot of what I was listening to in different forms was talking about social media and how social media really is a platform for us to give content, to add value, but also to then ask for something in return. A lot of times, like Allie was saying, we think that we need to just like give, and then at like the bottom of a long post, just kind of like throw in, oh, by the way, I'm running a group. That's not the case. The more you give, the more you can actually ask for, especially like with live video. If you're on there, you're giving your content, you're sharing what it is that you want to talk about, and then you can totally throw in there, you know, if this is something you're struggling for, where I'm running a group, you know, I'm running a challenge coming up with this. This is what we're going to cover, A, B, C, and D. This is what you're going to get, A, B, and C. This is how it's going to work, da, 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 da. Share with them what it is, because really our goal is twofold when it comes to social media. One, it's to share your story, to connect feeling to feeling, to share your heart so that other people can see a part of them in your story. It allows them to get to know you, allows them to trust you. I think that that's too, Aaron was talking about how Brendan Burchard has changed his podcast. And I was actually listening to one of his podcasts today, and he was talking about how the reason why he's now adding in these more lifestyle type podcasts is because people wanted to know him. Like he would get in, he would give content, he would inspire. People liked his content, but they wanted to know him. They wanted to know who he was, what he did, what he liked, what his life was like. And so that's why he started to do these podcasts about kind of his life. And it's the same thing with us. Like when people purchase a challenge pack or when they go into a challenge group and they are wanting to make a lifestyle change, it's very much an emotional purchase. It's not as much usually a logical one. It's usually an emotional thing. And so if you can connect, if you can speak to their pain points or those reasons why they're going to want to join you, and the reasons why you can speak to them is because you've been there, you understand it, you've walked in their shoes, it allows you to then fulfill the second purpose of social media, and that is to show them that you have a solution. It's to show somebody that they can go from point A to point B, and the way that they can do that is through this solution that you're providing them. And so that is where a lot of times we kind of fall short in social media, or we come up with a lot of the money objections or the time objections, it's because people aren't seeing that there's a solution to their problem. They see that it would be fun, they see that they like you, but they're not necessarily seeing the solution. And so our social media posts are twofold, is to share your journey, your heart, the emotion. That's what's going to pull people in because they're going to connect with you. But then two, it's also to show them that you have a solution for the problem that they're currently in. And it's a problem you're familiar with because you've walked that. So how do you do that? How is this possible? How do you make this happen? Like, it sounds great in theory, but how do you put it into practice? The best way I know how to put it into practice is to tell a story. So what I like to do is I like to just kind of take pictures of my life. So for example, the other day, my little girl talked me into letting her wear tap shoes to the store. And so she was wearing her tap shoes. She was wearing her brother's white tube socks. Like, she looked ridiculous, but she felt like hot stuff. Okay. And so she was walking around. She was so proud of herself, hearing her little tap, 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 tappings all through the store. And so I decided just to take a picture of her feet and in tap shoes. So where I could have in times past, what I would have done is to put up a picture of her in her tap shoes and just say she's her own person, or she's a free spirit, or just indie, period, the end. But now what I've learned to do is to kind of take pictures of my life and then create posts around them. So what I do is when I go through my pictures, I ask myself, what was I feeling in that moment? And what can I teach people about those feelings? So in that moment, I was feeling like that little 5-year-old girl that wanted to wear her tap shoes. Like, I remember loving to hear that tapping sound, right? And how cool you felt when you were in tap shoes. And talked about, do you remember when you begged your mom to let you wear tap shoes to the grocery store? And she said no. But you felt like hot stuff because you were in tap shoes. And then, fast forward however many years, and all we want to do is have that confidence back that little 5-year-old tap shoe girl had, and talk about how all too often we lose ourselves. Once we enter that motherhood, we lose ourselves, and we want to feel confident, and we want to feel cool, and we want to not care what everybody else thinks because we feel good in our skin. And then talk about, I'm running this group because I finally learned how to feel good in my skin again, how to be that tap shoe girl. Come and join me. And so taking just a simple moment and wrapping your emotion around it and your feelings because of your experiences allows people to walk that journey with you and then see the solution. So what I suggest is, I personally always have my phone usually in my back pocket. And when there's something that triggers some sort of emotion in me, whether it's positive, negative, happy, sad, whatever it is, I'll take a picture of it. And when it's time to craft a post, I'll then go through my pictures and pick out the ones that I'm ready to talk about and start talking about the emotion that's surrounding it and wrapping it into, how can I solve a problem that I've experienced before and my person that I want to work with will have experienced. So that's my suggestion for you guys as far as social media is concerned, is to use it as a platform to wrap your emotion around it and to solve a problem, because that's what's going to help people want to take this journey with you. Does that make sense?
Can I add something to that?
No.
So, okay. Shame. Brene Brown would be so sad. Shame. So one thing I would add is that Chalene Johnson said at Summit is to let your audience be curious. So what I cringe when I see, if I click on someone's profile page and then I see at the top automatically that I know they work for Beachbody or Team Beachbody, I'm like, hey, don't say that. You don't want to be blasting Beachbody everywhere, because everybody, maybe that would have worked 2 or 3 years ago, but now that everybody's selling something online, if someone clicks on your profile and sees Team Beachbody, they're automatically going to think you're selling to them, right? And really, that's not what we want. We want to help them, right? And so there's automatic distance if you're throwing Beachbody, if you're throwing product everywhere. An example she gave of being curious is before a podcast she just started, and she was like, oh my gosh, you guys, this is my favorite lip color. Isn't it awesome? So then she went on and did her like 20-minute podcast or whatever. And she said the number one thing in the comments was, well, what's the lip color? Like, what color are you wearing? Like, she let them be curious. And so a way you can transfer that into your Beachbody post is, instead of saying Beachbody, instead of saying challenge group, instead of saying Shakeology, instead of saying these buzzer words, you want to say like, oh my gosh, like, my life has been so altered the last 30 days. Like, or the women I've come in contact with the last 30 days have really redirected my life and given me a new focus. Or, like, stop naming the programs. Okay. Stop the Shakeology selfies, like stop, stuff like that. You want to make them ask questions. Does this make sense? Now, what I'm saying are all things that worked a few years ago. They're things Lacey and I did a few years ago that worked. But now that everyone's selling something, you have to lead with making them curious. Like, don't give them all the information all up at once, which kind of leads into reconnecting. The one thing is, I've been looking over conversations with our coaches in Empower and some coaches in Inspire that I've seen with newer coaches is what I call word vomit. Okay. If someone tells you that they're interested, and then you're nervous, and you're like, oh my gosh, like someone's interested, and you're like so excited. And then you give them all the information. You're like, this is how long the group is. This is how much it costs. This is how it changed my life. And it's like this long, like you can't even see because I'm out of my screen. It's like so long. And you have not brought out in them what their why is. So when you're reconnecting with someone, first of all, reconnecting, just so you know, Jessica, we try to do 2 reconnects every day, which just means you start 2 conversations every day. I do it on Messenger. Most of us just do this on Facebook, not about Beachbody, just to reconnect with someone. Hey, how are you doing? Or, how was your trip on the Oregon coast? Anything like that, to reconnect with someone. And so when eventually in the conversation you get to Beachbody and they say, give me more information, that doesn't mean give me everything you ever have known about Beachbody. Okay. Really, that means they're interested, and what you want to do and what you need to do as a coach is to figure out why they're interested, what their goals are. So something that I will do, instead of just blurting out all the information, like a trigger question I'll ask is, what's worked for you in the past that's not currently working for you? Like, it's not an overload, but it helps them reflect on their life, like what's worked for them and what in their life is preventing things from working from them now. And then that gives you a problem to solve, with what we have to offer. That's my biggest thing about reconnects. And I only know that this is not good because I did it so much. I remember how nervous I felt when someone asked for information and I didn't know what to say. So I said too much, and I'll go back through and look at conversations and I'm like, oh, that was really bad. So when in doubt and you don't know what to say to someone, always turn it back to them. Always turn back the conversation to their goals and figure out more about them and what they're wanting, what their goals are. Does that make sense? So, yeah. Okay.
I did a few word vomits this week. So
yeah. You're not alone. And you know what? Every single bad conversation, I was thinking about this today, only helps you know how to do it better in the future. Like, you can't, one of my favorite quotes, which most everyone in here has heard it before, is, if you want to be an expert at something, you have to be willing to suck at it first. And that's how I was with conversations. When I look back at my conversations, like, oh, but I only learned how to get good at them by learning what not to do, and it's more of an art than a science, figuring that out. But yeah. So you're not alone there. I think everybody's word vomited, right? Like, raise your hand if you've done that before. Yeah. So that was the main thing I wanted to say to our newer coaches that are going to watch this too, that couldn't make it, is don't word vomit, and don't put that you're working for Beachbody on your profile page. Make people curious. When I click on your page, like, look at your page as an outsider. Go to your page as if you're a friend. Know that they're going to have 20 seconds. They're probably only going to have 20 seconds to look at your page. Are you adding value? Do you have Beachbody posted everywhere? You shouldn't. Okay. Does it say that you work for Beachbody? Take it off. And I think mine says, I'm a health enthusiast, I think is what it says. You can have something in there about health, and fitness, but just don't say Beachbody or Team Beachbody. So yeah, that's what I mainly wanted to say about that. So
I think too, in connection to what Allie was saying, is that just like you're saying to not have Beachbody on there, is to remember, like, we don't work for Beachbody. We use their products as a vehicle to help people reach their goals, but we don't work for Beachbody. Like, you work for you. So you need to advertise you, because Beachbody has plenty of money and time to advertise themselves and to advertise their products. You don't need to advertise for them. What you need to do is you need to help people understand how you can help them. And so that's the main reason why we want to take all that stuff off. And I think too, like, I have this friend who started selling Rodan and Fields, and they have this like page, and it's all about like, this is the special, this is the product, this is what's like, it's product. And it's like, it doesn't add any value. I don't ever want to like look at their page, because I'm like, I don't really care what this box looks like. And honestly, like, if I wanted to know about it, I'd probably just Google it. And so that's one of the main reasons why you want to kind of leave it vague, is so people start asking you questions, not Google, that will take them to a different coach, right? And then it also gives you the chance to engage in conversation. So for example, a while ago, I put up a post about Shakeology and just said, why do I like Shakeology? And then just kind of like gave a spiel, and had mostly other coaches say, yeah, I love Shakeology too. A couple people say like, oh, you prey on pregnant women and like ridiculous stuff. Or I was like, whatever. But then I just recently did a post about, where'd it go? Right here, about making brownies with my family. And this is all I said about Shakeology. I said, you want to know my ultimate weaknesses? My kryptonite: dough, batter, or mix of anything sweet. Yep, I'm a child. But cookie dough makes me weak in the knees, cake batter makes my mouth water, and brownie mix makes me drool. I could pass on them with just a bit of self-restraint once they're baked, but in the raw form, I'm basically a puddle. I've been able to avoid treats in their uncooked form for a while, but today there was no way around it. Brownies, double batch. I knew I would be helpless since I had been sugar-free for a whole week, so I decided to take matters into my own hands and wear my garlic necklace, so to speak. I mixed a dose of chocolate to sip on while mixing up the brownies, but mine was packed with fruit, veggies, probiotics, and superfoods. Win for Lacey. Am I perfect? No, not even close. As I just asked my 5-year-old, and she will let you in on all my imperfections. But I'm trying my best to focus, to choose my treats with intention and not on a whim. You better believe it. What is your ultimate indulgence? And have you decided what your treat will be this week? So,
dude, that was a funny post.
Thanks.
That was really good.
So there's nothing about Shakeology, like there's no words, there's nothing that they can just like Google. And then people were like, so what did you put in your shake? How did you make it? What is it? Can you share with me your recipe? And it gave me the chance to not just answer their question in the comments, but to send them a personal message saying, hey, this is how I make it. This is what I like. This is why I like it. Like, tell me, what are you drinking? What do you like? And just start in a conversation back and forth, and then comment on my page, hey, I just sent you a personal message. So people see, like, they can get a message, they can get information if they comment, but it gives them something to comment on, to ask you to engage in a conversation. So that was just a little example.
That's a perfect example about being curious. That's a really good example. I like it.
Thanks. So anyway, but it is, like Allie said, it is an art form. It's taken us years to master this, and there's still some posts that just flat out suck. There's some messages that are ultimate bombs. Like, it's okay. And I think something I can't remember who I told it to, but is you need to remember they don't have anything to compare it to. So it's not like you're letting anybody down, because it's not like they don't know the Beachbody world. Mm-hmm. And so all they have to compare it to is what they didn't know before, and they didn't know anything before. So all you're doing is learning more about you and about your art form and how to improve your skills without somebody having expectations, because they have no idea. So give yourself
the nice thing about Facebook, if you have a post that doesn't do well, you're like, delete. I've deleted a lot of posts. You see what works and what doesn't, and you can just delete it, and then no one will ever see it again. It's not a big deal.
Oh. So anyway, do you guys have any questions? Anything that you don't understand? Anything you need help with? Anything you want to talk about?
I'm going to pull up a calendar and see, just give you guys dates for our groups if you guys want to throw people in there. Okay, so how about we do our first group on the 13th, which is not this Monday, but the next Monday. So you'll want to use next week and this weekend to really start messaging people, talking about groups, making people curious, you know. So the 13th will be our first group. Then we're going to do a clean eating group or some sort of free group on the week of the 20th. And then the 27th, so wait, these are all Sunday dates. We'll probably do it starting on Monday, but anyway. The 27th, which is a Sunday, so probably the 28th, is when we're going to do our next challenge group. Does that sound good, Lace?
Yep.
So there's can you guys even see it? If you don't have a calendar, that's a calendar for you. Okay. So we'll do that. So if you don't worry about not having a group. I mean, if you want to run your own group, that's like great, do it. But don't not sell something just because, or help someone just because you feel like your group's not going to be big enough. Just add them to ours. And we'll help you, and you can watch us coach, and you can also take a few days to coach too. So it's a great learning opportunity experience for you too.
Right. And I think more than anything, like, don't be afraid to ask for the sale. Like, don't be afraid to ask somebody to join you, because you own a business. It's okay. Like, it's not like a pizza place would be afraid to ask you to buy a pizza when you walked in the door. Like, of course they would, you know, like, don't be afraid as you're giving value and adding value and giving content. Don't be afraid to ask for something at the end. Allie, your friend, but I don't remember what she sells. She's like classic. Like, she's so good at it on Instagram, whatever she does, because she shares her story, but then she also like asks you to join her. Like, she asks you over and over and over. It's not a one-time thing where you don't see it. Like, keep asking, because people need to be asked multiple times. Like, don't be annoying about it. But
she's actually the only person of another MLM that I've been curious about her product because of the way that she shares her story. She's a Plexus distributor, and she is constantly sharing her story, like about how the product changed her life and motherhood and like every different aspect of her life. But she's also always selling, I guess, but I wouldn't say that she was selling. I would say she's truly coming from her heart and trying to help people because it's changed her life. And that's the point where we want to get to, where we can offer our groups and people see it as we're not just pushing product, it's really changed us. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing.
But she still continues to offer the product.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just give, ask once. It's give, join me, give, join me. Like,
mm-hmm.
She's constantly offering them that opportunity to purchase the product, just like you should constantly be offering the opportunity to join your group or to sample Shakeology or to whatever it may be.
But at the same time, don't forget your life is not all Beachbody. Like, you cannot just be asking for a sale or posting about Beachbody. You've got to post about your life too, because then that gets annoying too when the only thing you hear from people are about their products. Even if it's of value and it's changing their life, you're following them, especially in the stage where you're at, where you're not really working from a like page yet. Your friends are following you because they like you. Like, they want to know about you, which is why you should share what you're doing, but you also can't forget to share other things too. You know, like your kids and your family and your summer routine, and all of those things still need to happen too. I know when I first signed, I was so caught up in posting. Well, I'd never posted a lot before. I posted like once a week, you know, not often ever. And so when I had to start posting a lot, I was always posting Beachbody or workouts or whatever, like literally me with the program, like, you know, like, this is what I'm doing right here. And never posted about my life. And so it's a balance is what it is. It's a balance.
Yes.
So
if you want us to like take a look at your posts and give you some, you know, positive or some feedback, let us know. And we'd be happy to kind of take a look at it from an outsider's point of view.
Yeah. And we can always do that. I do that to myself a lot too. Like every, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, I'll say, okay, 20 seconds, look at my page, and I'll like do a page cleanup. So I'll hide posts that maybe I've been tagged in that are great, but if someone's coming to visit my page, maybe that's not necessarily what I want them to see first. So I'll do a page cleanup maybe every 2 weeks and make sure that the people who are viewing my page, because I'm sending friend requests like every day, right? And so those people, before they accept my request, are going to check me out. Like, just be like you. If someone sends you a request, you're kind of going to go check them out first to see who they are and what they're doing. And so you want to make sure when someone's checking you out, they're going to do it for maybe 20 seconds. So you got to make sure that your page is offering value and not pushing product, and, that they're going to see you're a happy, positive person. And so, yeah, I do page cleanups often.
Do you send friend requests from your personal page or from your like page, or both?
Both. So I'm always sending friend requests, like friends of friends, that sort of thing. And then also conversations that we have in Strong Fit Mamas, Lacey and I will always be like, well, let's be friends. Like, we've had this conversation, let's be friends. And we'll send them a friend request from our personal page. Because in that way they get to know who we are personally. Because we don't really post about our kids as much and stuff on Strong Fit Mamas. And so it just establishes another relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Any other questions?
So I posted about a challenge group that I wanted to start. I was talking to Lacey about it August 28th.
Okay.
And I had probably about 8 people, because I didn't post anything about Beachbody. And I said, we can learn about meal prepping and planning and exercise and how to fit that into your life. And if you're interested, message me or comment. And I had about 8 ladies do that. And then, so I sent them messages and, like you said, probably word vomited on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have, like, my sister, she wants to do it. So she's going to do a challenge pack. And then I have a friend who wants to do it, but she only wants to do the containers and not necessarily the workout portion.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess as starting as a coach, I was just going to let her into the group so she can see what it's all about. And then maybe in the future she would purchase, so that, because she'll see a difference in other people.
Right.
And then I have someone that's on the fence, and then I got a whole lot of no's after they saw the price and everything. So
yeah.
So I probably have like 2, maybe 3 people.
I think that's amazing.
So is that a good number to start with for a group by myself?
Yeah. Oh, I think so. I mean, I think especially whatever you're comfortable with, really. But I think 3, having plus you, and then you can always ask to, well, we are with him. Sometimes you can ask people in Empower, like, does anyone want to be in my group, or in the grad group? You can ask in the grad group. Does anyone want to be in the group that I'm running? If you wanted more people. For the people that I let in for free, I always say in the message, you know what? Like, I typically require an investment, but I'll let you in if you can commit to me that you are going to be involved and see this through until the end. Like, get a verbal commitment, and that kind of puts pressure on them, knowing they haven't financially invested and you're counting on them to participate.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds like you're doing awesome. That's so good for just signing. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Totally. Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. We won't take any more of your time. It's just so fun to see all your faces. Feel free to send us any questions that you have. Post it in the page. I love how active you guys have been in Team Inspire or Team Empower. You totally
awesome.
bring in the spark, and it's just really fun. It's like my favorite place to check. Like, I'm always like, scroll right to Team Empower. I'm like, oh, there's 8 things, sweet, So it just makes me happy. So keep it up, and if you have anything you want to talk about on these calls, feel free to let us know. We think next week we'll do like a power hour where we can sit down and move through the bat, actively do these things together to kind of knock it all out. So Anyway, but if you have anything that you guys want to talk about on the call, do you want to go into it deeper, let us know. So,
Yeah. All right, guys.
all right, thanks.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.